I am not gonna cry. I am not gonna cry. I am not gonna cry. After Ben Affleck's Live by Night, it's little brother Casey Affleck's turn to entertain your eyeballs in Manchester by the Sea. But in this game of Affleck versus Affleck, which one does something by something else better? Well, sorry to tell you, Ben, but you've been humped. Manchester by the Sea is incredible. Manchester by the Sea is written and directed by Kenneth Lonergan, and it stars Casey Affleck as a man who finds himself having to take care of his nephew after his brother dies and names him as the Guardian without his knowledge. Interestingly, it actually originated with Matt Damon and John Krasinski, with Matt Damon initially set to direct and then later star, but he was so busy that he couldn't do it until 2018, so had to drop out. And you can see in interviews and stuff that this movie is so good that he's genuinely gutted that he couldn't be a part of it. As he puts it himself,
I never made it through this script without crying, and I've never made it through any iteration or any cut of this movie without crying. It's just absolutely devastating. It's one of the most beautifully written things that I've ever come across, and I wish I was in it, but I'm happy to just be attached to it, and these guys are all just incredible.
But what makes Manchester by the Sea so good? Well, I can honestly say it's one of the best written films I have ever seen. It's a wonderfully complex story exploring grief and bereavement and what that means to the characters involved. It's also so natural. The writing and the acting often make you feel like you're looking into a window into the lives of real people. Writer-director Kenneth Lonergan obviously knows the story thoroughly and how to best tell it for emotional impact, because this is a movie where the director is perfectly matched to the source material. He tells the story brilliantly, introducing the main character and very quickly giving you a sense of what he's about, but there's always a hint of something being not quite right. As the present day story plays out, we get jump cuts to memories that give the characters a bit more context, but also raise more questions. And as the story unfolds, we peel back the layers of story and character, and it's clearly leading up to something that's supposed to be devastating. But as it goes on, I'm like, nah, it's gonna be nothing. I'm not gonna let myself get affected by whatever's happening. Oh, it can't be that bad. Okay. I'm not gonna let myself get affected by what I just saw. I'm fine. This is an emotional movie, and after it gets going and we learn a bit more about the character's backstory, I could definitely feel the tears welling up. But at least I kept it to myself, unlike the woman sitting to my right. Try and hide it all you want, but I can hear you sniffling. Just kidding, it was totally me. It's a film that, apart from the death that sets it up, doesn't really have much happening in it. There's no big events or exaggerated clashes to heighten the drama. It's just a film that explores these characters and the relationship between Affleck's character and his nephew, which may sound boring, but honestly it's gripping to the end, and I do love a good character study. The anchor of this film though, even though it has spectacular writing and direction, is the performances from the cast. There is not one performance in this film that doesn't feel completely genuine. Lucas Hedges, I had no idea who he was, but that boy has talent. Michelle Williams, nearly unrecognisable when we first meet her character and thoroughly believable in her role. But the real star, literally too I guess, is Casey Affleck. Sometimes actors get these roles that you just know they're so good in that they won't be able to top it, and this is Casey's. It is pitch perfect. A performance as powerful and moving as restrained and understated. He's got an Oscar nomination in the bag, guarantee it, if not an outright win. In fact, I reckon the only person that stands between Casey Affleck holding a golden statue this year is Denzel Washington in Fences, but we'll need to wait and see. It's a very smart movie that does a lot and expects the audience to just keep up. There are a few things left unsaid and not explicitly shown, and I like that. I do like it when a film respects its audience enough that it doesn't have to pander to them and explain every last thing. An example of what I'm talking about is when one character apologises to another for some pretty horrible things that were said in the past, but we're never actually told what things that were said. But that's okay, because it's a very emotionally charged scene and it obviously means a lot to these characters, and it's testament to the acting ability on show here that the audience doesn't leave the scene feeling like it needed to be explained any further. I'm actually struggling to think of faults in this movie. I guess at some points the pacing is quite slow, but I reckon that's deliberate. And honestly, the story was such that I didn't mind it at all. And I guess I am really picking at straws here, but there are points where the score gets very loud and threatens to detract from the dramatic moments that are happening on the screen, but That's it! Apart from that, Manchester by the Sea is an excellently crafted film that takes a small story and tells it with a creative team at the top of their game, turning it into something unmissable. Even though it's profoundly affecting and tragic, it's peppered with genuinely laugh out loud moments, and it's engaging enough that I could easily have watched another half hour of it and not felt like it overstayed its welcome. The cast and the director give you a masterclass in their craft, and it's one that you really need to see. I'm going to give Manchester by the Sea 5 popcorns. Thanks for watching my review of Manchester by the Sea. If you liked it, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. You can click the boxes below to see my latest video and my review for Live by Night. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.